Iva's version of it is, since your guest has been in the courtroom the whole time, what is your opinion or take on the feel of the jury?
So the jury is a fairly old jury. So I'm 37, and I think there's one or two people that are my age or a little younger, and the rest are in their 50s, 60s, and 70s. Okay, so hopefully that brings with them some wisdom, right? There's one Hispanic male. Other than that, they're all white. And, I'm an investigator, so I pick up things and analyze things that other people might think I'm crazy. But out of the 18 jurors, only 4 of them have been wearing a mask. So I'd like to think that those not wearing a mask are more on the right, and those wearing a mask are more on the left. So, I mean, that's just one little piece of evidence, and it could go either way. But, usually, I'm vaccinated. So, I got the Dollar General one, the Johnson & Johnson. So I guess I'm supposed to have my period or something. But
you'll become a real woman now.
I'm vaccinated because I trust Americans who do this science stuff. I took it on my own accord, not because the government told me, but these jurors were told, because this judge, he hates the masks, right? And he says, wear a mask if you want, but you don't have to. And so you saw the jurors just rip the masks off in relief. And I'm like, okay, those ones are conservative. Those ones are acquittal votes. And the 4 that are wearing the masks, a couple of them are pretty elderly to where maybe they have some kind of underlying condition. So I noticed that. I noticed that when Kyle was being cross-examined by T. Claire and just being badgered the whole time, the jury didn't like that. They don't like Binger in my surmising of their body language. They just don't. And remember, OJ's jury expert has been sitting 2 down from me this whole trial. So she's been taking notes, and she helped them pick the jury. So the jury is older. They're white, and they kind of look like Harley Davidson, like a lot of them. So I think these are going to be people that are going to, they're going to say, let this kid go. And that's
was there any direct reaction when Kyle started crying? Did you notice any body language changes?
Yeah. They were upset because at the same time, so I've been sitting next to Wendy Rittenhouse throughout the trial. She's Kyle's mother. She couldn't help it. I mean, they're trying to put her freaking kid in prison. I mean, it's just so sad.
Yeah. She looked crushed.
And the jury seemed very, very sympathetic to Kyle. I mean, he's got a set of brass balls too. I mean, he got on that. Many people said he didn't need to go up there on the jury stand. The state did not prove their case. He didn't need to go up there, but you know what? He went up there. He stood his ground. Because imagine if that was one of us 5 opinionated assholes up there, we would have been barking back at T. Claire saying, "Hey, you little metrosexual, blah blah blah." What would you have done? Would you just crawled into a ball and sucked your thumb? No, So I mean, Kyle showed some restraint, and I'm proud of the way he testified. And I think the jury was sympathetic to him as a kid who was scared.
I do want to comment only in that I think it's sad that we have to divide something like this in lines of right versus left. And it's funny because at the beginning of my documentary, I literally post a picture of my Bernie Sanders ballot. And I did that. Unfortunately, that meant that some right-leaning people immediately turned off my documentary. But I did it because I was so sick of people saying, "You're a right-wing Trump, blah, blah." Because I'd done 5 versions of the video at that point. And I had so many people just say, "No, you're on the right, you're conservative." And I was like, I just needed to identify myself. Like, look, guys, there's the truth and then there's not the truth. And I think there's just way too many damn people who want him to be guilty by virtue of his politics, by virtue of what they perceive his politics to be. Like I said, when I interviewed Lynn Wood, it was like he didn't even know what Kyle's politics were. It wasn't necessary. It wasn't relevant, and I think that it's unfortunate that, and you see this especially like when I just did a video about that Twit, who's a Twitch streamer, Bad Bunny or whatever. And she had this list of things that if you hear anybody arguing in the Kyle trial, then it means they're fascists. And there were basic things like due process. Like if you think Kyle deserves due process, And it just basically what I'm dealing with when I go on Twitter is that, for one thing, people are still saying the same debunked crap that they were in the first nights of, like, literally as it was going on. So, like, stuff that has been disproven, like, almost, what are we almost a year now? Like, I don't remember, like, how long it's been. Has it been a year?
Happened in August, I think. So it's been a year and what, 2 months, 3 months?
A year.
Right.
It'll be a year and 3 months and a week.
And then there are still people who believed, because of the media, that he shot black people. There are still people who believe that he just fired into the crowd. There are still people who believe, that he was just there to kill people, have zero evidence of that. They just keep repeating it like, the Nazi propaganda minister repeat the big lie crap. And then it's gotten into the public consciousness, and now I'm happy to say that more people are starting to get it, but it's frustrating because I work all this time on trying to make people aware. But what I more or less discover is, like, because she was giving this list as a public service announcement to people that she feels politically aligned with, that if anybody makes any of these arguments, you should block them and not speak to them at all. And I'm like, okay, so if anybody asks about due process, block them and don't speak about them to them at all. And then another one was the evidence of the case. So if anybody talks about the evidence of the case, block them and do not speak to them at all. And that's an example of why I agree with you when you say that this isn't just it's not just about Kyle Rittenhouse anymore. It's about the soul of the United States. It's about so many other things are at stake here, and it's just terrible. Anyway, rant over.